exam, and like it's the practical, right? So what we do is you go to the anatomy lab where all these bodies are set up. And you have like a minute where you look at the body and you have to answer a question about it. You know, there's something tagged in there. And I remember looking at one thing and I was like, I couldn't even tell if it was the front or the back I was looking at. It's really kind of like in the middle of an exam, you're like, oh God, I'm not going to make it through the next month. And then I remember looking up and there was Dr. Fenderson was in that room and he was, I guess, moderating. And he's sitting there just looking at this atlas, at the Grant's atlas. I just remember the way he was looking at it, just like holding it back and just completely in amazement and awe for like what he was reading. And I realized, you know what, this is a lifelong learning experience. So maybe there's some hope here. So thank you, Dr. Henderson. But good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I guess as a member of the class of 2016, I actually want to just take this opportunity to thank our deans, Dr. Dickinson, Dr. Cole, all the deans here, our amazing Jefferson alumni who helped put this thing together, our beloved professors, Drs. Dale and Captain Berg, Dr. Fenderson, and everyone else here as well. And of course, I can't forget to thank a very special group of people. Our loan co-signers, our piggy bank supply, our surrogate warriors, our most ardent believers. I'm obviously talking about the people working at FAFSA. I mean, seriously, those guys really believe in us. They're getting all their money back. My family has their doubts. Speaking of which, when I was first thinking about what to say at an occasion like this, I started penning my thoughts. I realized that the entire thing was just one big roast of my own family. Because why not? I mean, we all have quirky families, and what's the point in having one if you can make a little fun of them, especially in front of a group of strangers, I guess, Plus, there's just so much good material. I mean, my mom is so bad at directions, she can be lost in the cul-de-sac. My dad, who never really knew how to, what to talk about with young teenagers, one time grilled my first time ever homecoming date on her PSAT scores and her career ambitions, and even gave her dating advice. You have to focus on your studies, he said. Unfortunately, it was I who ended up having to focus on my studies because that never worked out after that. And my brother, bless his heart, he got so excited one time when a girl texted him to come hang out that he jumped in his car and raced away towards her, right? Which was fine, except for two miscalculations. One is that he drives a Prius, which maxes out at 40 miles an hour anyways, so there's really no need to hurry. The second being that he forgot he was at a gas station, still pumping gas. So all he sees in this rearview mirror is this gas pump just exploding out, and this plume, this whole, plume of gasoline just leaping into the air, people ducking for cover. So you can see, how hard it was for me to stray away from that whole course. I remember something. I'm still on the family data plan, and I really need an upgrade. So, I mean, in today's modern world, what does the word family really even mean? I mean, so I figured if I can now dissect and examine the human body, then why not a human word? And so let's take a look at it, right? Family. Obviously from the root words fam and illy. Fam, according to a source often cited as the Bible of our times, Urban Dictionary. Let me quote it to you. It says, fam is a word used to describe your peoples, ones that you can trust dearly. Alright, so far so good. Alright. And I'm sure I know what you're thinking. You're wondering, yeah, that's all fine, but what about illy? There's absolutely no way you can get around that. Well, I too was confounded for but a second until I realized it wasn't just a word, but three. I-L-Y. I love you. Oh. Family isn't just a blood-born, illegal beholding to one another based on financial indebtedness or a sense of guilt for not calling often enough. It's a bold declaration that states, my peoples whom I dearly trust, I love you. So, so today the Jefferson family would like to show you all the appreciation and love that you deserve. Thank you for being here with us. This is your day. And you know what? They should have more days commemorating your awesomeness. Not only because you deserve it, but because Jefferson brings out the best foods when you're here. The white goods are brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, dogs, I don't know who's here, but it's really nice to have you here. Yeah, the last time we gathered together like this was when you were helping us don our white coats, brushing up any lint that so clung to us to give us that image of a pure and fresh start. I can assure you now, those coats are neither white nor fresh any longer. And they're filled to the brim with a bunch of tools that I probably seen used more often to scratch people's backs with than examine patients. Don't worry, they do sanitize in between. It's all good. But seriously, we've come a long way since those doe-eyed days. And if we're quite honest with ourselves, for as many moments of feeling helpless, inadequate, drowning in information overload and the verge of many, many nervous breakdowns, we've probably had even more moments of sheer awe. This truly unique human feeling that we get not from the grades, but from the knowledge that we're bathed in, drives us to dig our feet deeper and continue fighting in the trenches, to wage war on our ignorance of the human body, its complexities, its innate ability to heal itself, as well as with a little bit of help from modern medicine. And we've also learned how to approach and take care of not just the beginning of life, but also the end. It's truly a fascinating experience. This whole blend of stressors, moments of awe, and the truly odd circumstances that medical students often find themselves in together have brought our class together. And over this past year and a half, I've often thought to myself how lucky I am to be surrounded by such genuine, caring, and extremely talented classmates and people. We push each other hard, be it in kickball, volleyball, whether we're trying to do the arts, from painting to making music, or just racking up some really cool life experiences. There's a lot of things going on over here. But just as hard as we go in that, we also make each other laugh even harder. And I think that's what's one of my favorite things about this class, is that I think we all do like to laugh a lot. We have some amazing memories and good times. Now, I think I might see some confused faces out there, and I think I understand why, because I'm sure when you're called to ask us how things are going, your standard, the standard reply you might have gotten would be, "What is it, Mom? I'm studying, can I help?" Or maybe, "I have no life," or, I don't know, I don't drink that much. Well, I want to show you that those are just moments of us regressing back to our teenage years at the sound of your voice. See, what I don't know, if I tell my parents and my brother often enough, about medical school at least, is that I'm often reminded of the power that comes from the title of a doctor, from the implicit trust that is freely given at the sight of a white coat, even if it is a few inches too short right now. At the willingness to be asked questions so personal that even we hesitate in asking them. See, what I don't know if I tell my family very often is that sometimes I'm actually happy to be in school, just to put off being given the responsibility of someone else's life in my decisions, in my hands. In fact, that thought always scares me. But sometimes it also motivates me. Sometimes it gives me a sense of purpose to this life that I've chosen. And sometimes that fear excites me. These other feelings I have actually found creeping into my thoughts more and more often over this past year and a half. And the fact that we're still here fighting those trenches tells me that my classmates and I are now moving past just the fear of practicing medicine towards embracing the challenge. And I want to just say that that's something that you can be proud of us for, truly. But the real reason I'm actually talking about this whole journey is that while this journey is important and necessary, is actually only a smaller part of the grander journey. You see, in and of itself, nothing really matters. What matters is that nothing is ever really in and of itself. Now, while you marvel at the maturity, sensitivity, and depth that I'm likely currently exuding, I should probably mention that last quote came from a book called Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs. Chuck Klosterman. But please, as goes the old adage, don't judge a book by its cover, nor a quote by the person quoting it. But yeah, in and of itself, nothing really matters. What matters is that nothing is ever in and of itself. I guess what I'm trying to say is that my classmates and I, and our accomplishments that led us to this moment, are not really our accomplishments. They're in fact our accomplishments. See, I realize this when I look at the story of my own life, which involves a father who left behind his career, traveled across a couple continents, a couple big ponds, just to start over again to give his children the best opportunity and the best education. It involves a mother who put her any professional aspirations on hold so that she could read every book on how to get your child into the best college. It involves a cheeky older brother who refused to settle for norms and constantly competed with a better-looking younger brother for medals, which never really happened. The most beautiful part is I know that we all have some really, truly amazing and endlessly fascinating stories of our journey here with our own families, quirky as they may be. The British philosopher and poet John Donne wrote once, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by sea, Europe is the less," he goes on to say. Our families are our continents. Our individual failures are embraced as their own, as well as our successes, which they actually fight to take credit over, not surprisingly. We would reach nowhere great without you. And more importantly, we wouldn't be half the men and women we are today of our own accord. We need you. And so simple as the words may be, I hope you can feel the profound depth in our saying them to you. Thank you. It's really so lovely having, all the families, my friends and classmates around to see, what shaped them to be who they are today. We really want to welcome you with open arms and empty wallets, holidays, grocery bills, overdue rent checks, maybe a little overdue tab that a few of us might have racked up in Moriarty's. Which if you don't know, Moriarty's is just a nice little study lodge. Just some refreshing drinks. But seriously, all you really have to do is shower us with some extra hugs, even if you're not your kids or siblings. Because, after all, we are all part of the Jefferson family. And we're all in this together, from our crushing loans to our graying hairs. Although I will mention that our alumni do make it look good so far. So maybe there's I don't know. And remember, nothing is in and of itself. Every gesture of love you give us now helps us to stand back up when things get hard down the line. Every time you let us know that you believe in the best of us, it brings our feet back to the ground when success sends our head up to the clouds. You know us in a way that no one else can, and whether we admit this to you or not, we will always need you by our side during medical school and throughout our whole careers, just as you will need us once you've seen the bill we've racked up over these past 4 years. Someone's going to have to take care of the ensuing hypertension, heart palpitations, and which really speaks to the whole interconnectedness circle of life, because you, in turn, will have access to the best doctors that only a prestigious institution like Jefferson could offer. So, it all works out, I think, in the end. Okay, I won't keep you from each other any longer, and I'll leave you by simply saying, family. My people whom I dearly trust, I love you all. Thank you. Aww.